Hello everyone.
It's Madi Madison from Spectrum Art.
Yep, and if you're wondering, come back here. If you're wondering what's going on here, she's working on background, so she's all gloved up. Hello everyone again, and we are going to be sharing our frame pocket embellishments. Now, this is a promised video, a continuation from a live that we had done on Valentine's Day for the art bar. Where we did a video hop on Valentine's Day, and we went from channel to channel to share, different artists and feature different artists. It was so much fun. So I'll be sure to put a link to the Art Bar YouTube and Facebook group in the comment box, so you guys can go ahead and check that out and join, because she does a lot of neat stuff, including mixed media. Okay, so let me go ahead and share what took place so we can recap briefly. We basically went live and did these frames, and they are basically pockets that have been embellished, and they could be used for many different things, right? They could be used on journals. So instead of using a plain old pocket inside of a journal, let me grab my book here. Instead of using a plain old pocket, you could actually go ahead and put in something really cool, right? To slip in pictures or quotes or poems. You could also go ahead and use these for, on a magnetic board or on a fridge. All you have to do is basically attach magnets to the back, right? And then you can go ahead and put these cuties on your fridge or magnetic dry erase board, maybe to slip in pictures or notes. What else? You could also use them depending on the size that you make, right? For a pocket letter. You could also use them to frame your ATCs. How cool would that be, right? To slip in ATCs in these and be able to either share them or feature them or even mail them to a friend or a loved one. If you're not familiar with what a pocket letter is or an ATC or any of the terms that I use, please do leave it in the comments below. Be more than happy to answer any questions. But anywhere, right? Just a really, really cute way to go ahead and display even some art or a business card or anything else that you like. Now, let's go over them real quick. I'll show you the finished product, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a pause and clean off the desk, and we will make one together, because that's what I had promised to do. But for those of you who kind of knows how it works and just are looking for some inspiration, I'll start with that, right? This first one here has got an embossed frame. And you see the background that matches. Madison went through and picked out all of the frames. You know what? I'll also go ahead and link the video, yes, the live, so you guys can see how we created some of these together as well. But in essence, here is this one, and this one's got a travel theme to it. So it's got a little suitcase that says Paris and London with some gold embellishments. Even the strings are gold. And then a beautiful little tag here with a map that says welcome to the world. Then we've got this one and this one. Oh, excuse the paint. I just finished doing a mixed media project, so I'm trying to get these videos out because I know I'm late, guys, so I apologize. This one has nature on it. It's got some beautiful bees, blacks and golds and yellows, and the pineapple is actually gold embossed, if you can see that. And then this gorgeous butterfly on a tag that says nature. This one is a Graphics 45 soft steampunk, very romantic, but yet kind of steampunkish to it. It's got a little teapot with wings and some hot air balloons and some roses and stamps and some different frames, and it says believe on it. And then we've got this one, and this one says love, and it's very romantic. It's got some lace on it and says always, so always love. And this one is a kite, and how cute is that kite? It's got wood and some pop dot features on it, and it's beautiful tail with yarn. We've also got this one right here. I believe this one's also a graphic 45 paper, and it's got a stamp and a rose and Paris, and that one's so cute. It's got rocking chairs and stopwatches, and also some umbrellas and a trunk. This one is oranges and blacks, and it's got a really pretty acetate embellishment there, which is like 3D. It's got 2 layers on it. It's multi-layered, and it's got some oranges and blacks in the back and some pumpkins. So really cute for fall possibly. This one is adorable. It's got a snow globe with a little bear that's juggling, and I don't know if I can pick up the details on that on camera. And I believe it's a squirrel. I don't have my glasses. It might be a doggy. No, I think it's a squirrel that's also in there with him. But it's got this really pretty sparkly teal paper on it. And then we've got a purple one. And this purple and white one says love on the purple flower, which is on a tag. And it's got a beautiful ribbon with some lace on it. Really, really cute. We've got this flower. And it's got a little bit of a bling on there, and it's popped up on some 3D dots as well. And then finally we've got our blue butterflies, which also have multi-layered wings. And just to I guess I should have shared with you that in case you had missed that other video, that this is what we mean by, oh, I gotta be able to see, right? That, you know, you could slide your sentiment or your pictures or your artwork in there and share it with friends. And so all of these are opened at the top, so you can go ahead and slide something in there. Some of these, and I'll go over when we start making them. Actually, you know what? Let me pause the video here, and I will clear all the stuff up, and then we will get to creating, and I'll explain to you the process and the different materials that we've used. So we'll be right back. So the supplies that we're going to go ahead and need in order to do our frames, we're going to be using the We Are Memory Keepers frame punch board. Very, very easy to use. If you do not have the frame board, this is not a big deal because you can do it without. Of course, this makes it a little bit easier, but if you do not have one, you can always just use a ruler, right? And just measure it out, and then use an X-Acto knife and cut the, well, the outside you cut with scissors, and then the X-Acto knife you can cut the little window. You could also use different size punches if you have some square punches or some square dies, right? You can go ahead and run those through and just make your own size windows. If you don't have that, you could also, if you have a Cricut or a brother scan and cut, you can also use that by printing out some frames. And I even think the brother scan and cut comes loaded with some frames, so you can use those. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and use the We Are Memory Keepers frame punch board, which is what I had used. So we'll need that. We will need some glue. Depending on what you're gluing, that's going to dictate your glue, right? If you're just going to worry about pasting some paper, some regular PVA or Eileen's glue or any of those will do. Once you get to the acetate, you're going to need to use something that is going to help you adhere plastic, right? Because school glue is not going to adhere plastic. So you'll need some acetate as well. You need scissors. You'll need some decorative papers. Scraps will do just fine. Collections do work very well because obviously they are already designed to coordinate. But if not, you know, go through your scraps and find out something that you could use. And then finally, you're going to need some either poster board, cardstock could work so long as it's got a good weight. Cereal boxes are amazing. So that's a great way to go ahead and recycle, which is fantastic, and be able to get some nice thickness to your projects. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Now, you'll also need some embellishments. When it comes to embellishments, the sky's the limit, right? You can go as 3D as you like. I mean, you can make this a real mixed media project, or you could also just go ahead and, you know, keep it kind of flat like we did because we wanted to use them in journals. So what am I trying to say? Your project, as far as how thick it is going to depend on, you know, what you plan to use it for. If you're going to just put it in a fridge or something like that, it won't make much of a difference, right? So I'm using my cutter just for the sake of being a little bit quicker. And I'm trimming my paper to make sure that I've got a nice straight edge. I guess for the sake of the video, we'll do a simple one. Let's go with a 4 by 4 frame. Okay, you're going to need one for the back, right? You know you're gonna need one for the front. So that's gonna be where we're gonna punch out our frame, right? Cut out our frame. And then in order to do the 3D, you know, for you to be able to slide stuff in, what I did was I built it up. Some of them were built up with just cardboard. Let me find one with foam. Some of them I actually use foam, and if you watch the live video, I kind of go through that and I explain it, so I'm not gonna do that here again. But if you ask me which I like best, I will be honest and tell you that I prefer the cardboard method, okay? Because the foam, well, you could buy it, and we do have it. Oh, this is kind of loud. I'm sorry, guys. You do have it in different colors, but if it doesn't match, you're going to have to go through with a marker or paint or something and get in there and actually, you know, change the color. And I did not enjoy that process. Plus, I found cardboard to be a lot easier to adhere. So that's my 2 cents on that. Now, in order to build up that thickness, right? I'm gonna go ahead and cut the same thing, a few 4x4s, right? And again, now you decide, how thick do you want this to be off? Are you just gonna be sliding a picture? It doesn't really take much. Or a quote or a poem, it doesn't really take much. So in this case, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and use 2. I think for most of them, I use 3, but we'll use 2 for this one. We'll keep it kind of light and easy. Okay, so we put our scraps to the side because we can still make some smaller frames out of those pieces. The way that this is designed is you have this side right here where you're actually going to be punching out the frame, and this side right here allows you to go ahead and cut the inside of the frame. I will show you the way that I do it. I'm kind of lazy about it because I just basically took a scissor and cut the inside, but I'll show you both ways real quick. These 2 pieces here come off and they dictate how wide your frame is going to be. So if you want your frame to be, and you can't really see it on the camera, but it says, here, let me take them off. It says 1, 0.75, 0.5, and 0.25. That tells you how thick your frame is gonna be. So some of these frames are quite thick, right? Some of them were thin. You decide what you're gonna do. Pretty much you wanna put them evenly, right? So if this is 0.75, you're gonna do the same thing here, 0.75 on this side. Let me make sure I got it in the right place. Second one, yes. It's kind of hard to see with the glare of the lights. Okay, and you know, because this has got 1 peg left and this has got 1 peg left, right? So then we know we're in the right place, right there. Oops, did I do that right? Yes. Okay, the only time that you're gonna change that is if instead of going evenly around all 4 sides, so let me find one that's even and one that's not. Okay, here's a perfect example. This one is the same width all the way around. So we would keep it like this. This is not. This is actually wider on the bottom, which is like the Polaroid type of frame. So if you wanted to do that, you would only move 1 peg, this one. And again, if you have questions and you want to see more on that, I'll be happy to do just a tutorial on how to do a Polaroid. That's not a problem. For this video, we're going to go ahead and just keep it uniform so we keep it easy. So the only thing you're going to do, and again, you're going to determine, you know what, I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to go 0.5 and 0.5. So we're going to be doing that size. All you're going to do is you keep the one that you're going to use for the background by itself, right? You do not need to mess with that one. You're going to take this, you're going to make sure it butts in there, and you're going to punch down. It is a little bit harder to do it on cardstock, so yeah, you'll need some oomph on that, but not too bad. Okay, spin it, and there we go, right? Okay, we are going to do the same thing for all of these. So we're going to come through and we're going to punch. And every so often, make sure you remove the things from the bottom. They just come out of here. but you don't want to be fighting against them as well, because they will create resistance, right? If you stack them up too high. Oh, this is hard to do when I'm trying not to put my face in the camera here. Okay. Turn it, punch, turn it, and punch. Okay, so we've got our frame, we got our thickness, right? What's going to give us our 3D effect to be able to slide in. And then we've got our background. All right, don't throw these away. And I'm going to share with you real quick why. Okay, so let me just put these to the side and pause, and I'll show you. These are the ones that were from the decorative corners. You'll recognize some of the paper on here, right? These are awesome to use on other projects and spreads and sheets and all kinds of stuff, right? And you're, okay. The cardboard ones, what I did was, look how cute these are. And look, I got 3 different colors, by the way. And you see, they're just the cereal boxes, right? That I used. But what I did was, I went through, there we go. I went through and I embossed them. I ran them through, Madison ran them through the machine, the die cutting machine, with an embossing folder, and embossed them. And then she went through and she painted them. Bronze, silver, and gold. And when you have a project that you're working on and you need some corners, look at those. They actually almost look like metallic metal corners. So totally cute, totally recyclable, totally free, right? So don't throw this away, guys. Save your corners. All of these, just save them, and you can paint them and emboss them. And, you know, you could also, even use some embossing powders if you wanted to, or some stickles, right? Some glitter. So don't toss those. Okay. So the way that this works is, if you have it on 0.50, which is what we had, we're going to come here. We're going to look at our board. We're going to look for 0.5, the same thing. So here we go, 25, 5, right, 0.5, 0.75, and 1 inch. We're going to put it on the 1/2 inch, right, the 0.5. And all that you need to do is put this in here, remove your cutter. This is your cutter blade. See that little blade right there? Okay. You need to put this little circle right here on this track, okay? So that fits right in there like that. Can you guys see that? The little circle fits right in that track. And then the blade sticking out the bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our frame, we're gonna slide it in there, make sure it's nice and butting up. You're gonna go ahead and take your cutter, you're gonna put it in here. Make sure you stop. Don't just like zip all the way through, because you'll cut your frame, right? You're only going from this hole to this hole. So let's do that. Put that back in the track and we slide. And then when the resistance stops, stop. And look at that. There it is, the first cut. I do it again. Go slow and stop. Do it again. Put it back in the track, go slow and stop. Do it again. Do that all 4 times and stop. And look, that should pop right out. There it is. Now, I did see that every single time I did it, it kind of, one side always comes out kind of wonky. Don't ask me why, okay? Cannot figure out the mechanics behind it. But I will say this, I am not the only one, because I've heard other people complain about the exact same thing. So, not sure what the story behind that is, but not a big deal, because all you do is you take your scissors and you just kind of go in and snip. It takes 2 seconds. Voila, there we go, right? And if you see any other lips that you do not like, you can do it again. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Now, let me show you Maddie's method. And this works very well with frames that are small. You don't necessarily want to do it with huge ones, but look, all you do is angle from one to another and cut. Angle from one to another and cut. angle from side to side, cut, angle from side to side, cut. Now, there it is. So either way, guys, either way, right? Let's do this one as well. The ones on the inside are not particularly important because those are going to be on the inside and you're never even going to see them. But you do want to be, of course, you do want to do a nice job. Don't throw these out also, because again, you can stack these up, you can save them and do other stuff. There's still plenty of that. So again, don't throw anything. You guys know me, I don't throw anything away. So now we are done with this. It's as simple as that. This stores right back in there. And we have our backing, we have our top frame, right? And then we have our two that are going to give us that lip. Now, to do that, what I did was I snipped at an angle because we want our, whatever we're inserting, we don't want it to catch on anything. So snip at an angle, snip again, right? Now we've got our frame. Now the frame cannot just be like this because then what happens is there's nothing for the picture to slide into. So what I did was I went around and just kind of measure like 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't have to be very, very exact. It's good that it's got a nice clean edge, but it's just a little something to give that picture or whatever you're going to be inserting a place to actually rest and catch, right? And we're going to do the same thing on the bottom as well because we want it to be able to sit on the bottom. So we're going to turn this and cut about 1/2 inch as well. There we go. And these scissors need to be sharpened and clean because they are full of glue. Okay, so now you will notice, oh, let me flip it this way so you guys can see. See that border? That's going to give that picture something to go ahead, or that you know, whatever item you're using, something to go ahead and rest on and be able to sit inside of that pocket. So we'll do it again with the other one, right? Again, kind of guesstimating 1/4 of an inch. Once again, 1/4 of an inch this side, and then about 1/4 of an inch on that side. You could make them bigger, totally up to you. I mean, I'm thinking whatever we're going to put in here is not going to need too much to go ahead and rest on. It's not going to be too heavy. So we turn it that way and we do the bottom. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to go ahead and pause so you guys are not watching me glue, but all I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to glue these two together, right? Glue these two. Then I'm going to glue those two to this here, creating that frame, right? And then we're going to mount that on that. Oh, I almost forgot, guys. I'm sorry. Bring this back. While you have this out, and when I had the cutter, I should have done it. Where is my decorative paper? Here it is. Let me show you that process. We're going to go ahead and go back and bring the cutting board. Oh. Whoopsie. And we are going to cut our 4x4 pieces as well, right? So 4. Wow, that was almost perfect. And that was not planned. Happy accident. 4 by 4. Okay. So now we've got our backing and we've got our front, right? And you know, you decide which one do you think would look best. So when you're playing with it, you kind of do one of these and decide, that could be the inside, which is going to get covered from time to time depending on what you slip in, right? But you still want to have a beautiful background, and this could be the front. So you imagine this cut kind of thin. You wouldn't really be able to see the flowers, so maybe that could be the back and then this could be the front, but I don't want to miss on the gold foil. So I think that one will be the back and this will be the front of the frame. Again, don't throw these out. You can use them, right? Okay, so that we've done that. The background is going to stay the same. The front, we're going to do it again. We're going to go ahead and punch. Punch. Make sure it's not crooked. Punch and punch. And there's our frame. Again, we can use our scissors or we can come back here and put that on the track, nice and slow, right? And stop. Don't keep going. Same thing again. Put it on the track, nice and slow, and stop. Do it again. Stop. Put it on the track and stop. And that should pop right out. There it is. And we have got our frame now. So now we see that it's gonna look like that. How cute is that? Now, to do the acetate, if you want to do the window, by the way, you do not have to do a window, because again, you've created a lip where whatever you're going to put in here is going to be able to sit. But if you are going to do it, all that I do is actually use the same frame. There's those corners. Use the same frame, come over, trace it, you can tell, with a permanent marker, and then cut out my frame. And glue that. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for a second, and you guys go ahead and continue with your cutting and stuff, and then you can hit resume when you're ready. But I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna glue, again, these two together, glue those onto this, then glue this on here, then glue that on there, and we'll have our pocket, oh I'm sorry, and then glue the acetate also in there, okay, on there. And you do that between this frame, these two right here, and this one. That's where you put your acetate, between those two, right? Your plastic. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and I'll be right back, and then I'll give you some other pointers and some other information. So I'll be right back, guys. You know, after I started gluing this down, I realized that it's probably best if we build one together. So, because there are a couple of pointers that I wanted to make sure that you guys know. The first thing is I went ahead and used Fabri-Tac to adhere the window, the acetate. Why? Because honestly, I've tried several different glues and they were not adhering well. So I would suggest that you do play around with whatever glues you have in your studio and see if it works. However, if you want a really good adhesion to your plastic, I would suggest that you go ahead and use Fabri-Tac. The other thing I wanted to mention is to make sure that when you're cutting your plastic, that you are tracing the outside of the frame, not the inside, because then your window is going to be too small. You need it to be able to glue and catch on here so nothing snags, right? All right, so now another thing that I thought of is, and I think I did mention it, is you want to put that on first, and then you want to go ahead and create your sandwich, okay? So nothing catches on there. Now, one thing that was kind of, I guess I should say funny, maybe not, I don't know, that happened to me during the show was that I made the mistake of actually, and I'm just going to use this because I have it out, so I might as well just keep going with it. But you could use this. Now you're adhering paper on paper, so you could use pretty much any kind of glue. You want to remember a couple of things. The first one is your design might have a right side up, you know, if you have images like these diamonds here, or these triangles, excuse me, do not matter whether they are glued this way, right? Or that way, or this way, but sometimes they do. Let me think of, oh, here's a perfect example. These umbrellas cannot be glued this way, right? Obviously, in these images. So you want to be careful that you keep that in mind, because I almost did glue one upside down and I caught myself. The other thing is I went ahead and almost closed off the pocket because I ended up putting glue all around. And I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to run this bead on this. Okay. And we're going to glue those two together, right? Like we had said. And I'm not using a hot glue gun, and I'll tell you guys why. Because I don't want for it to have like that crunchy effect. I want it to be a little bit pliable. But you could potentially use that. Now in this one, you do not run the risk of gluing the wrong sides. Why? Well, because one side is open and we know that that's going to be the top, right? So no way of making a mistake there. You do want to make sure of the following. Go through and make sure your edges are nice and you know, even. You don't want stuff sticking out where things are going to start snagging when you know, the person you're gifting this to is going to try and put something in there. So try and keep that clean. Okay, so make sure it's nice and even, nice and clean, also on the inside. Very good. All right, then this is what I was talking about. I went ahead and put glue on all 4 sides. Don't do that. Do, you know, the 3 sides obviously with the frame, but I was so busy talking during the live and trying to reach Chad and all kinds of stuff that I almost did not see it. I did catch myself. All right, we're gonna glue this on here. And then the other thing, and I didn't do it for this one just for the sake of the video because you guys don't want to sit here and watch me distress. You know, I try to keep my videos kind of short because we believe that obviously we want to get to crafting, right? Now you can see that pocket is in there. See it? Where we could potentially slip something in there and it won't snag. All right. And then again, when you go to glue these, if the images are going to go ahead and, you know, make sure that they're angled right. If you have something that's got images that need to be facing right side up. In this case, they don't, and that's fine. Now, the one thing that I would recommend as well is for you to go ahead, if you're gonna distress, I know a lot of people like it, some people don't. Again, for the sake of the video, I did not distress because I don't want to spend, you know, 5-10 minutes distressing while you guys are watching me. So for the sake of this video, I didn't. But if you're going to distress, if you're going to edge anything, you want to do it before you mount it all together. So before you even do the window, right, the acetate, if you're going to be using that, go ahead and do that. And also now here, play with your paper. Make sure that you have a nice, you know, lip on there. And voila, there we go. It is thick enough, you know, that it's going to allow stuff to slide in and out. It is not too thick that it couldn't possibly fit inside of a journal or a book, right? There is our window. There's our paper. You can insert even something thicker, right? There you go. And there is our beautiful frame, pocket. And now you get to have fun and go ahead and embellish it. Again, if you want to go through and distress the edges or use a marker and run it across because you do not like that finish, I don't mind it. I think it looks kind of rustic. It's kind of cool, organic. And the same thing if you want to distress the inside and the outsides, anything that you want to do, just go ahead and do all that before you go ahead and mount it together. But there is our pocket. I hope you guys have liked it. If you did, please make sure that you go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment, share it with your friends, right? Post it in your groups. We do have a Facebook group, or not group, a page, and we do have also now a Twitter account. So, is it Instagram? Yeah. It is Instagram. Madison knows better than I do. So we do have an Instagram. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. The information will be in the drop-down box. And we have some other projects that we're thinking about because we have lots of stuff that we want to go ahead and share, purchases and goodies with you guys. We also, I don't know if you guys saw our videos that we shared recently where we did some purchases. So we might want to share some of those with you guys. And some embellishments. We might even do a couple of destashes. So we've got lots of stuff coming down the pipeline. Make sure you please come back and join us. And also, you know, visit our other platforms because we love to hear from you guys throughout, you know, the web. So thank you so much. You guys have a blessed day and we will see you guys soon. Bye now.